Hey, everybody, welcome to another Real Estate Talk podcast. I'm Rob Kyleman.
I'm Joshua Britt.
All right, and today what we're going to talk about is what to watch out for as a home buyer. Meaning, what I want to talk about is if we, as agents, we're licensed agents, we know a lot about the game. We know about buying houses, we know about selling houses, but the typical home buyer doesn't necessarily have all that experience. So let's assume that we are going to buy a house out of state, not in the state we're licensed at. And we don't know anything about that current market over there. We don't know any agents over there, no loan officers over there. We are starting fresh with some know how. What are we going to look for when we go to buy that house? Let's start off in three parts. Let's talk about how to select that loan officer. Let's talk about how to select that agent, what we're going to look for if we're agents ourselves, who we're going to pick, and kind of what to watch out for when we're shopping for homes. Let's start with loan officer. What would you look for in the loan officer you're going to choose? How would you go about that process?
I think the biggest thing that I would look for in a loan officer is what their availability is.
Mm,
There are a lot of companies out there. You try to get a hold of them in the evening, and it's like you're calling some 1-800 number. I want a 1-800 number. I want my loan officer. I want their phone number. I want to be able to reach them on demand when I need to speak to them. When I have a question,
right.
when I'm shopping with my agent and I'm like, hey, I really like this house, but I want to make sure I know what the numbers are and what my payment's going to be, what my down payment's going to be, all those things
Yeah.
that I need to know in order to make a decision on whether or not I want to submit an offer. So I need a loan officer who's going to be readily available to take my call whenever I need them because as a home buyer, I'm out shopping most of the time in the evening after work. So
Right.
I'm shopping somewhere around the 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. time frame
Yeah.
or on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. Now, there are some people who don't answer their phone on Sundays. I can't work with them. I need someone
Yeah.
who's available when I need them.
You know, when you look at loan officers, agents, we do this too. When we're kind of selling, might talk about how much experience we have or something like that. Would you say, and I don't know if you can distinguish the two, but would you, if you had to take one or the other, eagerness to work or experience, which one would you choose first?
Ooh, that's a double-edged sword right there,
Yeah.
especially from a home buyer, right? Because you could get a loan officer who's eager to work, and most of those people are like really eager to work. They're still trying to build and they're trying to gain that experience,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of times, though, behind that person who's the eager, there's typically every company has some type of structure where there's someone above that.
Some oversight, right?
Yeah, so you may have a junior loan officer who has a senior loan officer or a branch manager above them. So that junior loan officer, they just got licensed. They're ready to set the world on fire. They're
Right.
ready to give everybody a home loan, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of times they don't have that experience, so they do have to go up to that senior loan officer or that branch manager. So I would say that if I was choosing between eagerness or experience, I would probably go with eagerness because there's always going to be the experience above that person.
Yeah. It's kind of a thing where, are you hungry or are you content? And
Yes.
then the content ones, then they're like, I'm not going to answer my phone after 5 o'clock on Sundays. I'm going to go and just hang out with my family. Because I'll tell you what, as an agent, if you're working at 10 o'clock at night on a Sunday or, a Friday or something like that, you would probably want to work with somebody who also is going to have the same level that you're going to work at.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if I'm going, I'm looking at houses on Zillow in some state I've never been to. And when I look at a loan officer, I think just based on what I know, I would select at least three different loan officers. Maybe I'll take one recommended by my agent. Maybe I'll Google around and try to find something. And then I think I would try three different loan officers. I would have my credit pulled three times those three people within the same week. I don't want to do 1 week, one loan officer, one week, another loan officer. I try to keep them condensed so it doesn't affect my credit score as much. And at least that's what I've been told. It doesn't affect your credit score as much if you keep the credit pools tight for the same thing.
Yes.
So that's what I would do. And I would look at the value I would put is also eagerness and hungriness. How can you get that in their voice? Typically, you can tell in their tonality. Would you agree?
Yeah, but I mean, still, it's gonna be sometimes that's gonna be hard because
Yeah,
I think like
getting to know somebody in 5 seconds.
yeah, but I think almost any good customer service person, salesperson,
Yeah,
when they first talk to you on the phone, they're going to be eager, they're going to be hyped up, they're going to
the
be,
best
but
version of themselves.
exactly, it's that first impression, right? But it's who are they after you've talked to them four, five, six, seven, eight, nine times? That's when you find out who they really are.
Yeah,
So, but I'll also say if you're a home buyer, healthy competition is good.
yeah,
You want to make sure you're getting the best deal possible, especially when you're probably making the largest purchase of your life.
yeah, I agree. So people know there's the possibility one loan officer can give you one term or rate on a loan, another loan officer could give you another. Um, why do you think that is? Why one can give you one different rate while the other one can get another? And you might hear something like you would at a car dealership. Hold on, let me talk to my manager. I'll be right back. And I've heard that a couple times on the loan officer side. Well, hold on, I have to talk to my whoever and see if we can get the rate lowered.
Yeah. So I mean, there's this thing that most people don't really know about, and it's not advertised,
Right.
and it's just like even us as agents,
Yeah.
So loan officers get paid on commission in
Mm,
most cases.
right.
They do. There are some times where they just take one for the team on the house. It's a company loan, so they get paid whatever that flat fee is, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of times what will happen is they can reduce their commission on what they're getting in order to get a better interest rate. So that's kind of how they're able to kind of jockey that interest rate around. And it's always funny because if you talk to the first loan officer you talk to and you get a loan estimate from, if you take that loan estimate to another lender,
Yeah. Get it written.
yeah,
Yep.
if you get it in writing and you take it to another lender and you say, "Hey, look, I'm getting this from this
Can you beat
lender,"
it?
and they're gonna be like, "Oh, yeah, we could do way better than that." Like, yeah, we're gonna do this,
Yeah.
and then you get this rate, and then you go back to the same loan officer who gave you the first one. Is like, well, Rocket Mortgage is giving me this,
Yeah.
and they're
Not a
like,
sponsorship, by the
yeah,
way.
not definitely not sponsorship, but just throwing out a name here, right?
Yeah.
But they're giving me this, and then that first loan officer would be like, "Oh yeah, I can match that.
Yeah.
I can do the same." But there's always little nuances in there that you also have to look out for because there's sometimes a lot of junk fees in there that they're charging you.
In the end, with closing costs.
Exactly. In the
Yeah.
end, they hit you with all the junk fees and a few weeks ago, we kind of broke down like the differences and what your mortgage payment is at interest rates. Sometimes the junk fees that they can hit you for will take years before you're ever able to recover that, even with a higher interest rate than the lower interest rate they're giving you. So just
I-
gotta be careful.
Is that because you're paying interest on those junk fees that are financed in your loan?
That's exactly the case. So you got a bunch of these junk fees that are being in there, and maybe you're getting your interest rate reduced by, a quarter of a point, and that's going to save you $30 a month,
Yeah.
but all of their junk fees added in there equals $3,000.
Yeah.
So,
So if they
you
don't
know,
get you on the front end with the interest, they get you on the back end.
yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
that $30 a month that you're saving in your mortgage payment, it's going to take you, what, 100 months in order for that to equal the $3,000 that they just hit you with.
Yeah.
So, and most loans are 360 months. So for almost a third of your mortgage, you're paying these junk fees.
Yeah.
You got to keep it for that long in order for it to make sense.
Yeah. I would say anybody listening in, if they're looking into loan officers, make them work for you. And especially if you're well qualified, you got high credit scores and stuff like that. I mean, you got the pick of the town. Be choosy. Be greedy a little bit. See what
Abs-
happens.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's pick a state. Let's say Nebraska. I don't know why I'm picking that state, but let's just go. Let's just roll
Send
with
me
it.
the map.
Yeah, let's just roll with it.
Yep.
So I'm in Nebraska. I'm looking around some town over there, and I need to find me an agent because I found me a nice little house over there that I like. Um, I mean, I know what I would pick with an agent. The first thing I would probably do, and since I don't have access to that MLS there, is I jump on Zillow. Zillow keeps track of a lot of your sales. Maybe they don't do it accurately or not, but you got an idea. So I'll search the agents in that area. I'll try to find who's regularly doing work, you know. Um, if it's got like if they have like two deals and that's all they've ever done ever, I probably won't go with them. I'll probably go with somebody that's a little bit uh more experienced. I mean, what about you? How would you choose it?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. I think we talked about this before on another podcast, but it's got to be somebody who's constantly in the business.
Yeah,
It has to be somebody who's very well aware of what is happening in that current market.
right.
Somebody who's going to be able to break it down to you and say, "Hey, this is what we have going on," and be able to guide you in the right way. If the person doesn't know how many listings just got listed in the last week, how many price decreases there were in the last week, how many went pending, how many went sold, then they really don't have a good idea. And if they aren't themselves doing business, like, hey, how many active transactions do you have going on right now?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, yeah, I don't have much going on, but I'm working on it. Those are the things that you're kind of wanting to figure out, like how much does this person really know about this market? And I think we mentioned this a few episodes back where it was like a good portion of all realtors are part-time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you hit that, as a really good point because I don't want a part-time agent representing me at all, not whatsoever, because I don't want to wait till after 5 o'clock when they get off from work to show me a house, or after 5 o'clock to answer my questions because they're not allowed to have cell phones at work or something like that. I mean, that would infuriate me, especially if I'm in an area, I got limited time, and my agent, I'll text her, say, hey, I want to see this house, her or him, it doesn't matter. I want to see this house. And they don't respond to me till their lunch break. I don't want that. I want somebody that's going to respond. Hey, look, everybody's busy. If I text somebody and they don't get back to me for another hour, okay, that's fine. You were busy. You were tied up with something with another client, something like that. I can understand that. But if I got to wait till after the working day's over in order to start setting up houses to see, and I got a limited time, man, I'm going to be mad and I'm not going to see as many of the houses that I want to see. Ran
Yeah.
over,
It,
but
yeah, it makes perfect sense. Like you got to have someone who's going to be dedicated to you and they're going to meet you on your terms and when you're ready. Like they got to be ready also. I tell a lot of agents, including spouses and that, when people say, "Hey, my husband's thinking about getting into the business or my wife's thinking about getting into the
Mhm.
business." Okay, well, you better be flexible because there's going to be times where it's like, oh, they're not so busy. And then there's going to be times where they're busy and they're off and they got to go and they got to be working because as a customer service person, we have to work when our customers are working.
Yeah, and that is probably the biggest misconception I hear from people that ask me about getting into the real estate industry to become an agent or something like that. They say, I was like, why do you want to become an agent? And they said, well, I want, the flexibility of my own working hours. And I said, that is a misnomer. Okay. Your working hours are when your client wants you to work. So, and in the between time, you're also working to generate more business because if you're not selling your marketing, you're doing something
Yeah.
else, right? So I've never worked more in a day in my life. I look back on the working hours, the 9 to 5 one. I'm like, man, I remember I used to work 9 to 5. I'd go into work, I'd get off of work, and I have to do shit for the rest of the evening. That was kind of bliss, but it wasn't. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm wired this way. I have to work 24/7 now. I usually don't get to bed till like midnight, 1 a.m. Depends on what I'm working on, I don't know. I expect that on my next agent too. I want them to be kind of on that level. Are they putting it in? Are they grinding? Are they creative? Not only and we'll get into this on this next topic, but do they know about houses? Not just, you know, hey, open the door. Look at the granite countertops. Oh, I see that. Look at the flooring. Oh, I see that.
Yeah.
Pointing out the obvious, right?
Yeah.
But I guess that segues into the next conversation, and that is, I mean, we flip houses, we sell houses.
Hmm.
I mean, what are we going to be looking for? in the house we're going to buy for ourselves?
If I'm buying something for my house for myself, I'm obviously gonna want to know. And I say obviously because this is me, but if I was a brand new home buyer, first time home buyer, I would be asking, how old's the roof?
Right.
How old's the hot water heater?
Right.
How old's the HVAC?
Yep. Heating and ventilation and air conditioner. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep, central AC.
Yeah.
And then I would be looking to see the foundation.
Right.
Any issues with the foundations?
Crawl
I would
space.
crawl space or a
Yep.
slab.
Yep.
Me personally, I prefer a slab.
Me too.
I don't particularly care to find out something's crawling underneath my house. But
It's a
yeah,
raccoon or
yeah,
something.
I don't want anything living underneath my house. But so those are kind of the things that the main things that I'd be looking for. Okay. Now, there are going to be, I think I have to ask myself also, and I say this, I've never had anyone tell me they want a bad deal,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Everybody wants a good
Everybody
deal.
wants a good deal.
So it's kind of hard to say, oh, I want a good deal,
Yeah.
but you have to say, okay, what am I willing to do also to make it a good deal?
Right.
So a lot of people, they see a house with wallpaper in it. They're like, no, I don't want this house.
I know. I see. That's
I
not that
don't want
hard to
this
pull off.
house. It's got wallpaper. I don't want to have to deal with that wallpaper.
Oh my God.
So if you see a house that has wallpaper, most people won't buy it, right?
I don't know why.
I
It's so easy to remove.
Yeah,
Well, it's not really easy to remove, but like,
we've done it a few times,
yeah,
so we're comfortable with it.
yeah.
But if you're a first time home buyer out there and you're like, I don't know if I want to deal with this wallpaper, it's not as bad as people make it out to be.
No, it's not. So little water. That's it.
But you could get a great deal if the house is full of wallpaper because no one's gonna want to deal with that.
Oh yeah,
So
drop them like a rock.
exactly. So for me, that's kind of how I would shop. I would shop from the standpoint of like, okay, what am I willing to do in order to get a great deal and get the purchase that I want? I would be the value shopper.
Yeah,
That would just be me.
yeah. I would look at a house that isn't completely dolled up. That isn't completely turnkey because that house that's completely turnkey is top of the market.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the highest property comparable to that one in that location.
Yeah, it's gonna have more demand also, so
Right, you're
there's
gonna have
gonna
to
be
compete
more
for it.
competition because everybody nowadays wants a move-in ready house.
Yeah,
Like
everyone wants turnkey.
no one that wants to put in a sweat equity that our parents and their parents put into the house. Everybody wants one that's turnkey. Hey, move-in ready. I just want to walk up to the door, open it, and start putting my furniture in. I don't have
Right.
to do nothing.
Yeah, I would stay away from those houses personally. I wouldn't even go anywhere near them. I would look at a house. First thing I would look at is the roof, right? Like you mentioned before. Architectural shingle, it's around 30-year replacement.
Yep.
Three tab asphalt shingle, that's about 20-year replacement. That's your common roofs, unless you're in California and you got those terracotta looking things that look like Spanish tiles.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have anything like that around here. So typically it's one of those two. So I'll know if I ask the age of the roof and they disclose it to me and say this is a three tab roof and it's 10 years old, I know I've got about 10 years relative life expectancy left. So I know in 10 years, I'm probably going to have to pay anywhere from 5 to 7 grand for a new roof. Now, if anybody's out there charging me for a 1,400 square foot house, $10,000 for a roof, I would never pay that.
No.
No.
No. That's
Yeah.
inflated cost.
Yeah.
The other thing I would stay away from is flat roofs.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. That
That's
sucks.
and unless it's
Oh,
on like some type of a commercial building,
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no need for a flat roof on a residential house.
Oh,
I
man.
I don't understand the purpose of it, the intent of it. I don't know why anyone would ever design a house with a flat roof on it unless it's a commercial building of some sort. So just stay away from it because they're a pain.
Yeah, so flat roofs for people that don't know what that means, basically roof is straight up flat, like a commercial building. The thing is on top of that roof, it's usually like a rubber membrane.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, not everybody knows how to do these stupid rubber membranes, as I learned the hard way on that. Um, and two, they're so expensive.
Yeah, they're
Oh my
very
God.
expensive.
Oh my God. For like a little 1,400 square foot house, that was like 15 grand on the low end.
Yes. And the reason why is because the people who do those roofs know that they don't have other competitors who
Yeah.
know how to do those roofs. So they can charge an inflated price. Like if you look at the cost of materials isn't that high.
No, it's just
What it,
rubber
yeah, and what it
and glue.
is the people who install them know that, hey, there's not many people who can install flat roofs, so I can charge what I want to.
You get it
So,
where you can get it, man. I guess.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean, if you're a
damn.
roofer and you're looking to get into business, maybe that would be a
You got
good way.
specialized
Yeah,
in flat
that's it.
roofs.
Specialize in flat roofs.
But yeah, so the other thing you talked about, and you mentioned this, was like water heater. What do we got on water heaters? Usually 10 to 15, depends.
It depends. There's all different brands out there. There's your low grade, your mid grade, your high grade. So,
Gas, electric.
yeah, you got a lot of different variable. How many people's living in the house? If it's just two people, it's gonna last longer because it's not as much water being used. If it's a family of six or eight, then yeah, you're gonna go through that thing pretty quick.
Yeah. Yes, but they're not terribly expensive to replace. I think
Not anymore. The cost has come down a lot.
it's like usually under a G.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you're paying more than a G to put a water heater in, you need to shop around for a different guy.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
taking you to the cleaners. The other thing is you touched the heating, ventilation, and air conditioner, HVAC.
Yes.
Um, usually, what, 15 to 20-year replacement on those?
It depends on that also,
Yeah.
because you got your higher end brands, Carrier Train,
Mhm.
York. I'm sure I'm missing some Lennox, but there's some others in there that will get you 2025. So it really depends. I don't necessarily know if the money on some of those are worth it because those type of HVAC systems you have to have certain people install them. So
Right.
like Carrier won't just allow, some HVAC technician to have access to their materials to install at your house. So you have to go through one of their certified installers. And so therefore you're automatically paying a higher price. It's like the flat roof
Yeah.
because the competition isn't there.
I got bent over a barrel on an HVAC. I had an HVAC go out in my house, my personal residence, and called my cousin, who's an HVAC tech in Illinois, and he loves Linux. He was just telling me how wonderful Linux was, and he's telling me like, okay, when you get the variable speed unit with the little tablet on the wall and all this other stuff. So I paid like 11 G's. I don't know when everything was all said and done. I got all the little upcharges and everything, and just I got the best HVAC system. Where man, I had more problems with that dang thing. That thing stopped working because it's smart and it's like high SEER rating, and if one sensor doesn't communicate with the other into the panel, then it shuts down. Then I'm calling people in my local area to come out and fix it. Well, I don't do Linux. I just do trade, or something like that. I'm like, yeah, so definitely look into it, see if somebody's going to be able to service that thing when you get it. I basically had told some HVAC systems like tear that tablet off the wall, put a regular Nest thermostat on there, and be done with it. But your HVAC won't work the efficiency. I was like, I don't care. I just want it to work. Jeez.
Yeah.
So I got to that problem. So yeah, definitely look into that. Other things, flooring. That's another expensive thing. People don't think that could be expensive, but that can get expensive pretty quick.
Yeah, it depends on what your tastes are.
Yeah, what your flooring
Obviously, I
is.
mean, you got your low grade stuff that you can get for fairly cheap, maybe 99 cents a square foot.
Mhm.
And then you got your higher end stuff that could be like seven, eight, $9 a square foot.
Yeah,
So it really depends on your taste.
yeah. So if you walk in and the paints are mismatched colors, paint's probably the cheapest thing you can buy when maintaining a house. So I
Yes.
would definitely overlook the paint colors. You can paint over them. Just look at the space and make sure that's going to make sense functional. At least that's what I would look at. Kitchens and bathrooms, I would, I mean, if I can take them or leave them if they're updated or not, if I was looking for myself, because I know how to put a kitchen together.
Yes.
So I know an appliance package could cost me a decent one, about 5 grand. I
Yeah.
know that for a medium-sized kitchen to get ready to assemble white shaker cabinets could be what, under 3 grand
Yeah.
for about a
Easy.
medium-sized kitchen. So you assemble them together, you put them in. It's 4 screws, 4 to 6 screws, depending if you find the stud. No, just kidding. No, so the contractor's like, oh,
But
see, that's why you
yeah,
should hire me. No, just kidding.
yeah. No, you can watch all this stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, all this
You can
stuff's on
learn how to
YouTube.
do this on
That's how we
YouTube.
learn.
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah.
YouTube.
If you don't know how to do it, and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure if I want to try it. Just watch a YouTube video.
Yeah, yeah,
You'll learn how to do it. You'll be able to put a kitchen in no time.
yeah. I mean, the only thing we don't install, of course, is granite, and that could be anywhere from low end $12 a square foot up to what, $40 a square foot. I mean, it just depends, you
It
know.
does.
But don't get too wrapped up around those things. These things can be changed out. Now, when you say, I don't have the money, it's kind of a double-edged thing because if you don't have the money to do the updates that you want, then you're going to be gravitating toward those that are already turnkey. But if it's in a really nice location and it's turnkey, well, you're going to have people out there that are going to try to outbid you for it. So just it's kind of one of those things where you can't have everything you want all the times, but you can pick and choose to have some things and try to make it work. Unless you have unlimited money, then the world's your oyster.
Yeah.
But
I think that's probably it because the rest of it's all going to be cosmetic stuff that you can do or change yourself or make it your own. And again, I just go back to the fact of, you know, for me, I'm going to be a value shopper. I
yeah,
want the best for my money, but I don't want to pay too much for it because I know what I can do and what I can make a house in the end.
time to buy. I'll tell you how when I would buy. Timing, I would buy in the fall and winter.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You're gonna get your best deals in the fall and the winter.
Yep.
Now, everyone's like, "No, I'm gonna wait to the spring." And when I
Oh,
hear this, I'm like, "Oh, okay. So
okay.
you want to wait to the spring? You know what happens in the spring, right? Everyone
Everybody
comes
wants to
out to
shop.
start shopping.
What houses? Let's go.
Yeah, and there's I was doing some research on this earlier today. Like, there's really some pent up demand for housing in the United States. There were people who in 2020 said, "Oh, I'm not going to buy. The competition's too tough." That was like a
Yeah.
common thing that we heard in 2020.
Yeah.
I'm going to rent for another year. Then in 2021, they came back out and was like, "Oh no, it's still rough out here. I don't want to rent. I'm going to rent for another year. I don't want to buy. Competition's still too high." Then, they waited another year, 2022, right around this time last year, interest rates started getting the 6% range, and people were like, "No, I'm gonna wait for the interest rates to go
Yeah. It's
down,"
8% now.
right? So it's a year later, and guess what? Interest rates are now even higher than they were a year ago. So there's these people who have been waiting like 3, 4 years in order to buy, and eventually, reasoning is going to take hold on these people when they realize, like, yeah, I've been waiting since 2020 to buy a new home, and over the last 3 years,
My rent
I
has
don't
gone
know,
up twice.
rent's gone up twice. I went from paying, $1,500 a month to now $1,800 a month. And when you do the math, it's like, man, I'm paying over $20,000 a year. If I would have bought 3 years ago, that $20,000 a year on average would have went towards a house. I would have paid $60,000 towards my house, but I was like, no, the competition is too much. I'm gonna rent. I didn't want, that they walked away from that little bit of competition
Mhm.
and took the easy road, and now the easy road is more painful than if they'd have stayed in the fight and fought against the competition.
Yeah, I noticed that too. So it'll be like in our market, it'll be like 2 weeks. It's been really slow on the buyers. And all of a sudden, back to the races again. We're multiple offers again. And we just had a slowdown where we thought, okay, we're slowing down. We might be inching towards the buyer's market again. Like, nope, just kidding.
Y-
Back to seller's market at multiple offers on every property again at 8% interest rate, at 8% interest rate.
Yeah, and the reason why is because there's just pent up demand. There
Yeah,
literally is, and it's like there's so many people who have been like sitting on the sidelines, like, no, it's too much competition, interest rates too high, and then eventually, it's like I said, 3 years go by, you're like, man, I just spent $60,000 in rent, could have took that and put it into a house that I now would own and would be building my own equity. Meanwhile, home prices have continued to go up, and I've been thinking they were going to go down at some point in time, but they haven't really. And it is the fall time, so we're saying now's the best time to buy. This is, where the least amount of competition is,
yeah. It's usually the
but
slowdown period and the cyclical nature.
it all depends because last night I lost multiple offer
Oh, yeah, that
where
sucks. You
the
told me about that
the
last night.
buyer who got the house went 25,000, at least 25,000 over the list price because that's where we were and we lost.
Man.
And we're talking a list price of 700,000 here in Hampton Roads, which is like 2 times the level of the median home sale here. And that house ended up going for more than 25,000 over list price.
Well, let's say we're back in Nebraska shopping. And let's say we don't have money for our closing costs. Let's say our closing costs are going to cost us, I don't know, 16 grand, 10 grand, 12 grand, whatever it is, whatever, depends on what we're spending.
Exactly.
So let's say it's, I don't know, let's pick a number, 12 grand.
Okay.
Okay, let's go with 12 grand. So let's say the closing cost at the end is going to cost us 12,000 out of pocket. Let's say I don't have it. All
Yeah.
right. What kind of houses? I'll tell you what I would target. I would target houses that have been on the market for more than 30 days. That's who I would target to ask them to pay my closing costs for me.
Yeah. And I mean that's a good option, right? Is to
Yeah.
go after the houses that have been sitting longer with the hopes that they're going to be more lenient, more flexible
Right.
on their price and what they're willing to give. The other thing, we have to go back to points one and two,
Yeah.
in that if you got a really good loan officer
Yeah.
and you got a really good agent, they're going to be able to tell you, one, what the best loan programs are, because
Right.
there are loan programs that will pay for your closing costs, and there are some that will even pay for your down payment. You just have to
Yeah. The
qualify for those.
down payment assistance programs
Yep.
and stuff.
So you
Yep.
got your down payment assistance programs, and some of those have closing cost assistance programs as well.
Yep.
So you could end up using one of those loan programs in order to get the house and be competitive. And that's with any house. It does not necessarily one that's been on the market for 30 days, one that just came on the market. If you got a really good loan officer, a really good agent who know what they're doing, know what they're talking about, they can tell you what programs are out there for you that could help put you in that competitive field where everyone else wants to be at if it's the move in ready. If that's not an option,
Yeah.
if let's because a lot of those programs have income restrictions,
Right.
and a lot of it's based on family size as well.
Could be a budget for this, state or city or Fed, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. The
But
money's available.
a lot of those programs, though, people don't look into them because they don't think they would qualify for them. So, like right here in Hampton Roads, VHDA, there are, I'm not 100% on this, but I'm about 95% that if you're a family of four, the VHDA income restriction goes up to 113 or $117,000.
Yeah.
So if you're under that, you can get into one of those grant programs.
Yeah. Another thing I usually say is, well, I'm going to do some more things to my credit, and to get my credit score up. And a lot of times people don't know they even qualify, especially if they're first time home buyers. And what's the minimum on FHA? 580?
Well, so there's the 580 is there. That's kind of like this standard benchmark, but there are ways that you can go even lower. So on an FHA, as long as you put 10% down, you can go down to a 500 credit score. I've
Yeah.
actually closed some of these deals with 514 credit scores, but they were able to put 10% down, and you can get some of that money as a gift from a family member.
Right.
So this is the reason why it's very important to have a good
Mm.
agent, a good loan officer, because they know these things and they're going to be able to tell you these things.
Yep. Have a good agent, have a good loan officer. And then when you go showing for a house, have a knowledgeable agent that knows more about houses than just opening the door.
Absolutely. And I mean, when I say a good agent, I mean that's
That's what I
somebody
expect.
that's the standard for me. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm expecting.
Yeah. If you're gonna sell homes, I want you to tell me about the home.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think we touched on a lot of points here. We gave a lot of valuable information. If you're out there shopping and you're thinking like, hey, what's the things that I need to know in order to make the best purchase possible for myself and for my family. Just to recap, fall winter is going to be the best time. The competition's the lightest, but it doesn't mean there's no competition. It just means it's the lightest competition.
Right.
Spring, summer, you're going to have heavy competition. Make sure that you know about the different loan programs. You got an agent that's one eager to work with you and has somebody who can back them up with the experience.
Right.
So they have a good team in place, because there's a lot of junior officers that are underneath some good senior officers and branch managers who can make sure that your file goes correctly. And if at any point in time you're not feeling comfortable about it, hey, ask to speak to somebody higher up. There's always someone higher up.
Right.
Um, but I think we've touched on a lot of it.
All right. Well, let's end this podcast here.
All right.
Guys, if you like this video, go ahead and hit subscribe. Go ahead and like it or dislike it. Leave a comment below. Until next time, keep hustling, stay hungry. See you soon.